Yasmina, welcome to Empower Network TV.
Thank you for having me, Amos. It's such a joy and a pleasure.
Well, Yasmina, we're going to talk about variety because you've done a variety of things. But first, you're in Belgium, and so I did ask about the chocolates because chocolate lovers here are gonna. Is there any particular brand of Belgian chocolate that we should be looking out for in our travels or in imports?
Well, I do believe that Leonidas, which is a brand that started out in Belgium, I believe. And if I'm not, like, the fact checkers can correct me if I'm wrong. But they are now also, I know that they have shops in New York, in Los Angeles. I think they've branched out in the US as well. But there's so many different brands because we have also small factories, chocolate factories, that are really how do you say it, artisanal? And so chocolate is like it's the Belgian thing. Chocolate.
Nice. So chocolates, and then we are going to do forklifts, IT, female entrepreneurs. So where are we going today? Because we're going all over the map.
We're going to go all over the map. Well, first of all, Belgium is also known for their beers, of course, and their diamonds, which people don't know either. So we don't have diamonds, but Belgium is the hub worldwide where diamonds are bought and sold and all these kind of things and traded. Okay. So that's also adding to what Belgium is all about.
And you started your career selling forklifts. You were the first female.
It's amazing, right? I still am amazed when I look back at it because I accidentally came into sales after being in administrative functions for 7 years. And then suddenly this opportunity came along and a friend of mine said, why don't you become my successor? I'm doing sales for a company that's selling forklifts. And I go like, what? Forklifts? I don't know anything about forklifts and I don't know anything about selling. And so I had a conversation with his manager, the owner of the company. And he apparently saw a potential or a talent. And he said, I think I'm going to give you a chance. And he made me do an assessment. And then it appeared that sales is in my DNA. So he wanted to give me a chance. And that's how I became the first woman selling forklifts in the port of Antwerp, which was quite a curiosity back then.
Yeah, I bet. I've never even heard of that. So, okay. So and this is a while ago too. This isn't last year.
No, that's 25 years ago. I know I look young, right?
Yeah. You have that youthful glow. Okay,
exactly.
So you moved from that, and then then you got into IT next?
Yes. So I was selling forklifts. Then I sold trucks also in the port of Antwerp. And then a sales director asked me, he was a sales director for an IT company, and that was back early 2000s. And early 2000s, what people don't understand anymore is that a computer was a rarity, right? It was not a commodity like it is today. It was really investment, and servers were an investment. And the guy said, we're pushing the products and we're not considering the customer. But what you're doing in the port of Antwerp, because the port of Antwerp is all trust-based, you have to create trust, build relationships, all these kind of things. And he said, I want you to come and do this here so that my sales guys can learn from what you're doing. And that's how I ended up in IT. Again, I didn't know anything about IT, but I said, why not? Let's give it a try. And then I stayed in IT for 20 years. I was doing sales for different companies. Yeah.
And you kind of blew it up in IT.
Exactly. But predominantly in new technologies. I liked the new things. Like there was virtualization coming up. There was business intelligence coming up, which is now all normal, that we have things in the cloud and that we do data analysis. But when I started working for these companies that were developing these kind of things, for me, that was really exciting because it was something new that I could bring.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then you shifted into business. Now you have your own. Let's talk about that.
And then I shifted completely. Well, when people say I'm too old to change anything in my life or to do something new, let me tell you, you're never too old to start all over again. And so the last company was a software development company. And I helped them grow from being active in 2 countries to 14 countries over 4 continents in 3 years' time. It was also a tech startup. And then they were purchased by a bigger company, and everything slowed down again. And I was like, I'm not liking this, because we were in a good flow, you know, like when you are in a startup environment, it all goes quickly. And then you come into a traditional company, and then the structure and the processes all slowed everything down. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I was already coaching and training for 15 years as a side hustle. And so I asked myself, I didn't feel drawn to the next opportunity being again doing account management or sales in an IT environment. And I said, what can I do next as the next step? And then I started my own business, which is 5 years ago, where I combine everything. I help businesses grow and I help people grow. And that's my big passion.
Okay, so how do you do it? How do you help them grow? How do you help their teams grow?
Yeah, so when it comes to people, I focus on female entrepreneurs and female leaders in leadership positions. And I help them with one-on-one executive coaching. We look at where do they want to go. I always start with, what is your vision? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to create in your life, in your business, in your career? Because if you don't have a vision, we don't know what the roadmap will be, right? So you need to know what you want. And so I start with vision, then I go and look in who are you, who you want to be, what are your values, what is your drive? And then I go into the mindset to achieve your vision. What mindset, what obstacles, what limiting beliefs do I have to overcome to make sure that I create that vision? And so we go into investigative mode on what is working inside of the brain that is either holding us back or pushing us forward to create what we want.
And who is your ideal client? Like, what type of female entrepreneur? What are her characteristics? What are her stumbling blocks? What are her traits?
So usually they are women that have already had a career of 15 to 20 years. They have like this expert status in their domain. It can be marketing, it can be finance, it can be operational, you know, like a lot of great women do a lot of operational stuff within companies. And they have this expert status, but they don't know how to sell themselves. So they used to work for corporations, organizations, and then they decided, like me, I'm going to do something different. And then they come into a freelance mode, but not feeling the joy, because being a freelancer is the same thing as working for a company, but in a different contract, I always say. And then they're looking for more. They're looking for more purpose, more fulfillment. But they have difficulties in, how can I sell myself? What can I do? Which products can I create, you know, or which services can I create? And that's the ideal target group for me, because I help them to come up with things that they didn't even think about. I look for the possibilities and the ways to make it happen.
So I'm curious. Yeah, I want to ask your secrets. I'm like, it's because you've done it in a number of industries. How did you learn how to read people? You obviously know how to read people really well.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that like that, because my mother used to say when I was a child, she said, all your friends, they all came to you to discuss things. And then she would ask me, my mother would ask me, like, what did you discuss? And I said, it's confidential. But I learned through talking to people, what their drives, what their motivations. I'm so curious, you know. My customers used to say, you ask so many questions. Even when I was selling forklifts, you would think it's a product. You just go in, the customer knows what he wants, and you go into your brochures and you say, okay, this is the forklift. But I would say, but show me where that forklift needs to work. Show me what you want a forklift to do. And they would go like, your colleagues or your competition doesn't ask me for that. And I said, but I want to understand. So my curiosity helps me to understand what a person wants. So asking questions helps me to understand, and then I can read them, also a little bit intuition, of course, but then I can read them and then I can help them to navigate to the solution that they're looking for. And sometimes I have the solution, but sometimes I don't. And then I'm also honest and transparent in saying, I cannot help you, but I created a network and I think this person can help you. That's also really important, I believe.
Okay, so give us some, I want to ask you like some tips. Of all the things you've learned, what is 1 or 2 tips you could give to these
female
people?
entrepreneurs,
female
for
leaders? Them to, what are some things you've learned that maybe they've not learned? Maybe stuff you learned when you were young, at 7 or 10.
Or 10 or 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the most important thing that I learned is being resilient. I've had many setbacks in my life. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old. I ran away from home at 14 years, ended up in a juvenile institution, dropped out of high school at 18 years, started working, so got married, divorced, all these like life, right? That's the setbacks. But and that's why I'm still amazed about the life that I've created, and it has everything to do with resiliency. I have a setback. I can lie down for 5 minutes or a day or 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And I would go like, oh, poor me, emotions, crying, all this despair, all these kind of things. But then at a certain moment, you have to snap out of it and tell yourself, okay, but what's the next move? What is the next step? What is the next forward moving action that I can take to get me out of where I am right now? So resiliency and the longing for happiness, I think, the desire for happiness are the combination that kept me moving forward and kept me going. So resiliency is really important, I believe. But then what we as women keep ourselves from doing a lot, I think, we don't allow ourselves to dream. We keep ourselves very small. We keep our ideas very small because we're afraid to show ourselves. We're afraid of the rejection. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of so many things in our mind, right? The mindset. But having dreams and allowing yourself to dream about the next possibility or the many possibilities that are still lying in front of you, that's also fuel for moving forward, I believe. So I always say, dream, dare, do. So dream big, dream. And then you have to jump as well, trusting that you will be okay, even if the jump doesn't result in big success, right? But at least you will learn something from it. So it's the dream, dare, do. I'm very action-oriented as well. So yeah, those a combination of all these kind of things.
This is amazing. I bet there's many women in this community that would love to connect with you and just get your thoughts, and because your approach is different, your attitude, and you've been through all this stuff. So it's not like you had some Pollyanna lifestyle that was perfect. No, you forged your attitude and your mindset were forged resilience. Beautiful. True. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so how do people connect with you? I'll be tagging you in this interview. Do you have website funnels? Can you put that stuff in the comments after we're done?
Absolutely. So they can go to yasminafadli.com. That's my website. And go to Facebook, Instagram, put in my name. You will find me and follow me and register for my newsletter. You will get all these juicy things monthly, insights and inspiration. So yeah, that's how they can find me.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to leave them with? Because you just power packed it in the last 20 minutes. Just boom, 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 boom.
I'm like, whoa!
I know.
I'm so full of energy. What I would give to your audience is, or what I would hope that they get inspired by, is that it's never too late And you are needed in this world. There's a reason why you are here in this world. There's a reason why you are born in this world. And that reason is something you need to find, because if you don't find it, that's like wasted talent. That's like, I think Dr. Wayne Dyer said something about it. If you don't activate your potential, then that's wasted on everyone. And on everyone, I mean, it can be your children, it can be your partner, it can be the friends in your life, it can be the people you work with, but there's someone out there. And for me, it's like a sacred motto, right? There's someone out there that will enhance or improve their lives because you have touched them in some way. It doesn't matter if you sell products or you gave a smile to someone on the street, but there's someone out there that, because they interacted with you, became more happy, took the first step to their brilliant future, I always say, or took the first step. Wouldn't that be nice? To fall madly in love with themselves. And if we understand as women that we have a place in this world and that it is time to take our righteous place in this world and stand with confidence and with clarity, then tomorrow the world will be a much better place to live in.
I just said, well, I'm sold. So that's thanks for being here. You're right. Well, you heard it from Yasmina Fadli. Fadli?
Yes, okay. Good.
Awesome. Reach out to her. She'd love to connect with you. Let's end the broadcast here and let's keep chatting. I want to hear more about your stuff. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll chat soon.